Hello YouTube! In this video, we're going to take a look at TP-Link's KASA line of smart switches and outlets. I installed my first one of these about 18 months ago, and I've kept adding and adding since then. I've used them and lived with them day in and day out, every day since then, and today I'm going to share my thoughts with you, good and bad. So stay tuned. Make sure to watch until the end for exciting information about the giveaway too. Welcome to the channel. My name's Jeff. I'm an IT nerd by day and a smart home enthusiast by night. On this channel, I cover all sorts of smart home tech and home automation, including lights, appliances, doorbells, networking, cameras, security, home audio, and pretty much anything else that can be automated or remote controlled. If that sounds like something you might be interested in, please consider subscribing to my channel and be sure to ring the little notification bell so you don't miss any of my exciting content. Let's get to it. Now, I first saw these devices on Amazon and they looked great. My first order was for 6 of the regular switches, 4 3-way switches, and 3 dimmer switches. At the time, a 3-pack of the regular switches was $39.99 and the 3-way switches were $16.49 each. And a 3-pack of the dimmers was $49.39. As of right now, the single pole 3-pack is on sale for $34.99, the 3-way switches are $16.99 each, and a 3-pack of dimmers is on sale for $45.67. Later, I did also order 2 of their 3-way dimmer switch kits, which I paid $49.99 each for, but are currently on sale for $34.62. So if you want some of those, maybe take a look. I also have a number of their smart outlets. I paid $22.89 for a 4-pack. They're currently on sale for $26.99 after a $3 coupon. So I got to work installing these switches right away, and I ran into some issues. Not with the switches, but with the wiring in my house. Since my house was built in the late 80s, it was right on the border when they started wiring circuits with neutrals in the box. A lot of my light switches did have neutrals, but there were just a few that were just switched hots. That meant that I had to rewire a few circuits in order to get neutral wires into the boxes, but that's a different video. In the boxes that did have neutral wires, installation was very straightforward, and everything needed to complete the installation was included in the box, with the exception of a couple of screwdrivers, a pair of wire strippers, and a voltage detector. Let's open up this box and see what we've got. Here's the stuff that we're going to be taking a look at today. These are packed largely the same. Open them up. There's 3 switches in each box, nicely packaged so that they don't rub against one another and get scuffed up. And they include a nice package of mounting screws and wire nuts. So this is the single pole dimmer. So you've got terminals on the side and then ground and a neutral. This is the regular single pole switch here. And these are all just wires. So you've got the 2 black, which are your line and your load. And then you've got a neutral, which is white, and ground, which is green. And one other nice thing that they do include in here are wire labels for when you remove the old switch so that you know what's line and load, what's neutral, and what's ground. Very nice if you're not familiar with wiring. And then they include a little card here with URL to get support and download the KASA app and basic instructions there. Now, since I already made a video about how to physically install these switches, as well as a video about how to add them to Home Assistant, I'll throw links to those in the description. I'm not going to go into all those details here, but suffice it to say that if you know how to turn a screwdriver and you can work a pair of pliers, you should be able to complete the installation of one of these switches from soup to nuts, including shutting off the breaker, removing the old switch, installing the new one, putting the faceplate back together, turning the breaker back on in less than 10 minutes. Setting the switch up and getting it on the Wi-Fi network is also very easy to do following the instructions in the KASA app. The process is roughly the same for all KASA products, although the dimmer switches will have an additional calibration step to them. Here in this demonstration, I'm just adding an outlet quick since those don't require any wiring, and I can do it as a demo for the video. First, choose the type of device you'd like to install. Follow the on-screen instructions. Connect to the KASA device. Choose the SSID the KASA device should connect to. Provide the password. The app will remember it so you don't have to enter it for future devices. Ensure your phone is on the same network as the KASA device when prompted to switch back to your Wi-Fi instead of the KASA setup SSID. Provide a name for your device. Update the firmware if prompted. Next, let's take a look at the three-way dimmer kit. For those of you that are knife geeks, this is a dog bone by Matt Helm. Great knife. Now, there are two switches in this box, and unfortunately, you need to use both of them. This one here goes at the side that has the neutral. So you've got a neutral wire and a ground, and then you've got 3 terminals. This goes at the other end where there won't be a neutral, and you'll have a ground and 2 wires running to this. The fact that you need to use both of these is different than all the rest of the KASA switches, and different than even a regular 3-way switch, where you would still only need to install one. The reason for that is you'll notice that both switches have dimming buttons on them. So you can dim the circuit from either end, which is certainly a really nice feature. The wiring is a little bit strange, but it's not too bad. So let's start with what made me choose these switches. For starters, they were white. The rest of my switches and trim in the house were already white, so I didn't have to worry about things not matching. Next, I like that they look very similar to the regular Decora style rocker switches. They're close enough to regular switches that I don't have to explain to my guests how to turn the lights on and off like you might with a Lutron or some of the other smart switch designs. The next big thing that attracted me to them from a technical standpoint is that they're Wi-Fi. At the time I bought most of these, I was just starting my smart home journey, and I didn't have any Z-Wave or Zigbee or anything like that anywhere. Only Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi was very attractive. It was a technology I was already familiar with. I could just plug them in and go. Lastly, one of the things I really liked about the 3-way dimmer setup was that you could dim the lights from either switch. Even the old regular light switches that were installed before didn't have the ability to do that. Sweet! Now, I've seen a lot of reviews from a lot of people, even big name people like Reed from Smart Home Solver, and a lot of them make the claim that KASA switches require internet access.
My only other complaint is that it can be a little slow or delayed when using automations, and that's because it uses Wi-Fi in the cloud.
Now, this isn't exactly true. I mean, if you're using Google Home or Amazon's She Who Shan't Be Named, or if you're using the KASA app, then yeah, the switches will require internet access, and there is a noticeable delay there. I mean, it's not too bad, perhaps a second or a second and a half, but the delay is definitely there. On the other hand, if you're using a Home Assistant with a KASA integration, the communication is local, direct from Home Assistant to the switch, and I don't see any delay whatsoever. Granted, a lot of that performance is dependent upon the quality of the wireless network in your house, so your mileage may vary. The other thing that does require KASA's cloud is firmware updates, but more on that later. The initial batch of switches were so easy to install and configure that I went all in on these KASA switches. Currently, there are only 9 circuits in my entire house that aren't controlled by KASA switches. Now, it's not because they have some other smart switch controlling them. It's just that I haven't gotten to them yet. 3 of them are closets, kind of low priority, and the other 6 require some rewiring, so those will take a bit of extra effort. How many have I gotten to? Well, according to my inventory in Home Assistant, I currently have 4 plugs, 12 3-way switches, 2 3-way dimmer switches, 8 single pole dimmer switches, and 28 regular single pole switches. No, I'm not sponsored by TP-Link or by KASA, even though that sure would have been nice. I just really like these switches. When I press them, they just work. When I tap them in my Home Assistant dashboard, they just work. When I include them in an automation, you guessed it, they just work. All these switches here that I use for this video, let's just say I'm really bad at keeping track of what I've already ordered and where I left those boxes. But in case my wife is watching, these are spares in case one goes bad. I'm guessing you want to hear about the bad too, right? No product can really be 100% perfect, can it? Well, unless it's a paid review, of course, but we already covered the fact that I'm not sponsored by them. So let's dig into the bad news. Now, real quick, before we continue, if you're enjoying this video, or if you like my DIY haircut, maybe you like my funny t-shirts, or maybe you're just a really nice person that wants to help support the channel, please do me a favor and give that like button a quick little flick. This tells the almighty YouTube algorithm that this video didn't suck and it should be shown to more people. Your support really does mean a lot to me, so thank you. Over the 18 months that I've had these dozens of switches installed and in use, I've had to reboot 2 of them. That's not bad. To reboot the switch, you simply press the restart button and the switch reboots. With 54 devices, that works out to having problems with only 3.7% of them, and that's over an 18-month period. So an annual issue rate of 2.4% with that issue anyway. Sure, 2.4% annually sounds like a big number, but from what I've read and seen, I've got quite a few more of these than most people, so you might never have any problems at all. I did have to perform a hard reset of 1 switch, but that was after an extended power outage. I was doing some remodeling and had a circuit powered off for several days. I'm guessing that was the cause, since it only happened with that 1 switch and only that 1 time. Further, shutting off power to a switch for several days isn't something most people are going to do, so I doubt this will affect you. However, to be fair, the hard reset procedure was pretty easy. You press and hold the reset button for 10 seconds to factory reset the switch, and then you delete the switch from the KASA app, and then just follow the standard procedure to re-add it. The probability of this issue happening again is so unlikely, I'm not even going to bother doing the math on it. Now, for the one and only black eye that I have to hand out on the KASA lineup, the 3-way dimmer. First, it's a very odd wiring arrangement. Let's get that out of the way. But that strange wiring setup is required in order to allow you to dim the lights from either one of the switches instead of only at one end. Anyway, these switches weren't even available when I first started with the KASA lineup, and by the time they did come available, I had already replaced nearly all the switches in my house. I really knew my way around residential light switch wiring by that point. Wiring up those 2 3-way dimmer circuits I have here was nothing short of nerve-wracking. I mean, even if the wiring does seem a bit wonky for these switches, they do work as advertised. Sort of. When I first restored power, things seemed fine, until I tried to turn the lights on. Press the switch, they'd come on, and then over the course of 2 to 3 seconds, they would begin dimming until they turned back off. Nothing I did with either switch had any effect. Due to the odd way that these are wired, my first thought was that I had screwed up the wiring. Back down to the basement, shut off the breaker, back upstairs to the kitchen, pull the wires out, follow the wires, double check everything. Okay, nope, all good. Power back on, same. Great. Remove the switches, email TP-Link support. Now, to their credit, they replied very quickly. After a small number of back and forth emails, they asked for my phone number so they could give me a call since that would be faster. I agreed, they called. The solution was to update the firmware on the switches. That's right, they shipped these switches with faulty firmware right from the factory. Once the firmware was updated, everything seemed to work great. And then...
Come on now, that ain't even bullshit. That's horse shit.
I noticed I was unable to shut the lights off in the kitchen when the switch was at 100% brightness. Great. After a bit of screwing around, I figured out that if the brightness was at 85% or lower, the power control worked without issue. Once again, I contacted KASA support. They asked me what kind of lights I was controlling. I told them I had no idea. They're flush mount LED wafer lights that my electrician installed during the remodel. She asked me to get the make, model, and part number. Yeah, right. Let me get out a ladder, climb up to my 9-foot ceiling, pull one of these lights down out of the drywall without screwing up the paint, all so I could get the make and model of a light that shouldn't matter in the first place? Pfft. At that point, I wrote off KASA support and instead simply decided to write an automation that just knocks the brightness back down to 85% whenever anybody turns it up. Now, you might be thinking, that's dumb. You can't use your kitchen lights at full brightness anymore. Yeah, well, technically I suppose that's correct, but I may or may not have gone overboard with the number of lights I had my electrician install. Trust me, 85% brightness on 9 of those LEDs in a 16 by 20 kitchen is more than enough light. So, problem solved? Now there's links to all the products shown and mentioned today down in the description in case you'd like to go check them out. I highly recommend all of them, with the possible exception of that 3-way dimmer setup. But I mean, Amazon returns are pretty easy, so if you have a need, maybe order one and give it a try. If it works out for you, great. If not, drop it at the nearest Amazon return location, right? I mean, it works fine in my dining room, so. Do you have any KASA switches or outlets? How do you like them? What do you think of this review? Do you agree? Drop me a line in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, as for the giveaway, I'm still looking to hear from Sean Christensen to claim the 500 subscriber prize from the redraw, and I'm looking to hear from Patrick Sullivan to claim the 750 subscriber prize. We'll give these guys another week or so to respond, and then I'll draw new winners. As of right now, when I'm recording this video, the channel is right around 850 or so subscribers. When the channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, I've got an awesome prize that I'm gonna give away to celebrate that milestone. To enter, you need to subscribe to the channel. I mean, you don't want to miss the video where I announce that you won and then I have to redraw and give it to somebody else, do you? Then you need to comment on the first video I ever posted on this channel about how to install Home Assistant on Windows 10. When the channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to scroll through the comments on that video and randomly pick a winner. I'll announce that winner in a video, they'll need to comment on the video, leave me their email address, and we'll get the prize shipped out to them. Rules. There's only one rule. The winner must live in the continental United States. Shipping costs, export laws, yada, yada, yada. I'm an IT nerd, not a logistics expert, so my contest, my rules, sorry. As always, I hope you found this video informative, and I hope that you found it entertaining. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, go automate something, will ya?